What is your goal, bro? What do you want to achieve together? Where do you want to get to?
Yeah, I want to get to a point where I'm making, 50K, like 50K in the next like 3 months from like let's say our June, like June, I want to be hitting 50K.
Shut up, bro. Fucking crazy, dude.
50K a month, bro? Damn.
50K
You have the
month.
boys here, they've been helping you out?
Yeah, bro. No, I mean, Jaden's been setting me up like a dog. We've been working on that, and Oliver's been here in late nights with me, grinding on the scripts and shit.
Damn, legendary, bro.
Tell me, bro, do a little introduction, walk me through your numbers.
Yeah. So I'm Andres. I help people with DPDR, which is an anxiety-based condition. Um, and yeah, I mean, we've been fucking killing it. We've been killing it. You know, I started with Nick about 2 months ago. Um, yeah, I mean, I was at a pretty like slow point, and I knew that to get to where I wanted to get to, like 50s, 100K months, I needed a change. I needed someone that actually knew what he was doing, and that has done it in the past. So I came across Nick, and I was like, "Fuck it, let's go." Committed, and then first month, 56K collected. Fucking awesome.
What made you make that decision to work with me in the first place?
Man, just had to rip it to be honest. I mean, as you know, Max, your past client, which is my past mentor, helped a lot with the actual like decision. Um, but even then, it was my decision at the end of the day, you know, and I felt like I could trust you, and I felt like, you know, you knew what the fuck you were doing, and you knew something I didn't know, which at the end of the day is very valuable. So I was fucking, you know, I was ready to fucking go.
Fair. What made you think, or what made you, because you're super good at that, what makes you make the right decisions to work with the right people? What are things that you look at? Because I know a lot of people struggle with that while making wrong investments. What are the most technical and critical points that you look at to make the right investments?
To be honest, I would say the most important thing is just a testimonial. Like the testimonial and talking to people that your past clients, that was kind of the decision maker, to be honest. You know, like as I said, Max literally, as my past mentor, hopped on a call with me and fucking told me straight up, like, look, I've gotten you this far, and that's basically as far as I can take you. If you know, if you want to get to where you say you want to go, I think Nick is the best person in the whole info space. So I was like, fuck it, let's do it, you know?
Fair, bro. No, 100%, 1,000%. When it comes down to the main bottlenecks, because people want to know this, what is the thing that got you stuck? Because obviously you were stuck at 10, like inconsistent 10, 20K months. What is it that you got that got you to past 50K per month in 1 month? Like, I know the answer, but I think it's super critical to understand for people of what the mechanism or the vehicle is and the pain points that
Yeah.
you were at, the situation that you were at, that you've been able to solve in that time span.
Yeah, I would say the most important thing is honestly just like I think content. I think ripping content, but most importantly having the time to rip content, right? Because if you don't have the time and you're stuck on sales calls 24/7, then you're not gonna be able to actually, you don't have the brain power or the time to do both, you know? So implementing the setter was huge because it bought me back a lot of time, you know? And as soon as he was ripping, I was like, all right,
Oliver,
let's lock and
closer.
then and now Oliver, my closer, is fucking ripping too, you know? So it's so important, you know?
It gives you leverage and it gives you, I always say, and we talked about this a lot as well in our calls, it's like people are not always looking to save time technically, but it's also mental space. Because when you have more
Mental
time,
space is huge. I talk about that all the time.
yeah, absolutely. Because when you have more mental space, you have the ability to think, to strategize, to be creative, and perform on the tasks that you want to perform on, do you want to do. I think that's a super important component. When it comes down to acquisition wise, what has changed um, compared to you making 50K
Um,
per month instead of making 50K? Obviously, like ads is a big thing, which is something we're going to work on right now. to
Yeah.
launch the skill to quarter of a mil per month. When it comes down to the foundations in content and stories and reels and all these things, even
Mhm.
testimonials, utilizing the evidence that we get from the back end while building a good fulfillment in the front end.
To acquire clients, you need to fucking sell them, right? And it starts with your content, first of all, and then they reach out, right? And then your setting process, right? My setting process is relatively simple. You know, my clients are pretty desperate and pretty just to the point. So I walk them through a simple framework, and then from there, hop on a call. And I think what really made a difference for me when I was in the tens and twenties to the fifties was sales, like actually getting good at sales and learning sales, and therefore increasing your close rate, and then you get more clients, you know?
Bro,
That simple.
it's like,
But
and
getting more, yeah,
I said
go
like
ahead.
sales is different variants, right? Marketing is an aspect of it, stories is an
Mm-hmm.
aspect of it,
Mm-hmm.
a good product is an aspect of it because that's what I always say. Like we
Hmm.
market the front
Of
end.
course.
A golden fulfillment can't replicate any marketing strategy. And then when you optimize sales, you have a closer right now, install a closer, we install a setter, systems in place, everything is dialed. You know, it becomes a lot easier to make solid sales on a consistent basis.
Of course it does. Yeah, man. Absolutely.
What's the goal onwards now, bro? Tell me. Like
The
I know
goal
your
on,
goals, bro, but like what's the plan right now?
yeah, no, like as we talked about in the last interview, I mean, the most important thing for me is to continue to live to my potential and live to what I know I can do for people, and you know where I can take this long term. But in the short term, just continuing to help to change people's lives, and in the process, hitting 100K a month. You know,
Yeah,
that's it.
absolutely.
That's it right there.
1,000%, bro. When it comes down to um, the clarity, what would you say is different compared to somebody at 10, 20K? Because a lot of people get to me, they're like at zero or maybe at 20, 30K already. They want to get to 100. The main thing they struggle with is clarity, right? Within different segments of the company, whether that's an offer, acquisition, conversion team, or systems. What would you say are the main bottlenecks when you're at 50, 75K per month right now that you're willing to solve just for people to know of what they can expect whenever they get to that situation or people that are there right now? Because we're going to solve
Oh,
it.
yeah.
We'll be
You're
at
asking for
100K
my
in June.
current. You're asking for my current bottlenecks.
Correct. The current problems, what would you say are bottlenecks for people that already have a closer, have a setter, have everything in place, have everything dialed? The marketing is good, the stories is good. Do you feel like it becomes more of a mental issue? Do you feel like it becomes a time constraint? Do you feel like it becomes a marketing
Mm,
sales problem?
probably to not. I think it's like more of a time and capacity thing. Because, like, realistically, you don't want to have 150 clients because the client fulfillment is the most important thing. That's what gets you results, and that's how you market your business, right? Um, but now with my new CSM, I feel like that problem's kind of, I'm not at that, I don't have a problem yet. I just need to fill those spots, to be honest, you know? But I need to continue focusing on content, you know, getting people through the funnel and making people know that you exist. I feel like it's got to be one of the most important things, you know.
Absolutely.
Um, and then from there, making sure you have a good closer, you know. If you have enough people coming through the funnel, you qualify them with a
Appointment
solid
setter,
setting process.
nurturing process,
Yeah,
middle of the funnel
yeah, and
ads.
then you get them on the call. You just got to make sure you close at the end of the day, and that's it.
Absolutely. How's your life changed outside of running a company that you do right now? Outside of
Yeah,
business, bro.
yeah. I mean, the freedom that money gives you is awesome. You know, like I was saying, last year at this time, I had maybe six, seven, $8,000 total ever saved up, and now like I've made that in a day. You know, so like the difference between those two are very huge. You know, like it was kind of overwhelming and just like surreal how my last month went hitting 50K. Like I was able to take care of my grandparents' rent, my aunt's rent. Um,
Oh,
I was able to book this trip that I'm on. You know, I'm chilling in Bali right now. I'm able to just do whatever I want and like not really ever care about the finances, while being responsible and not stupid, but it's just so much freedom and it's liberating and it's awesome to feel. And in the same while making that money also working with clients who are literally fit perfectly what you're looking for and it fulfills you in every way possible as a business owner and a service-based business owner.
Would you say that that was always the goal that you were looking for, or was it what? Let me say it this way: was the goal that you were looking for when you were starting out the same goals have you got that you've gotten right now?
Bro, fuck yeah, man. I mean, when I first, like, the beginning of this year, my New Year's resolution was literally my New Year's resolution was hitting like 200K in the year, right? And I figured that was a good goal because I was like, oh, that means I average like 15K a month throughout the whole year. I was like, yeah, it's pretty fucking good. Like at that point, I only hit like 8 or 9K in a month. So I was like, bro, 15K a month consistently throughout the year, like that's gonna be not tough. I knew I was gonna hit it, but that's gonna be the goal. And now, bro, it's like, fuck, man. Like I don't have a goal for this year anymore, so I blew that out of the water. But yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, fair, bro. Is it when it comes down because obviously one of the most important things is fulfillment as well. You get good client results. I get good client results. That's the reason why you're here. The importance of testimonials, building a good fulfillment, and reputation, referrals. All these segments of ascension and like scalability and like reputation, branding. Um, do you think that's like an important factor, like an important lever within companies?
It's 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 one of the most important things. Like having a really good offer and fulfilling and replicating results is is everything. Without that, you probably don't have like a good business, to be honest. Like the the best guys like yourself like have fucking great testimonials. I actually find it funny how some top guys don't have great testimonials. I don't want to like name drop. I'm sure you know, but I don't know how they do it. But if they had fucking good testimonials, they would it just blow up, you know? Um, it's so important to fulfill on what you say you're going to do for your clients and them actually genuinely feeling happy and feeling content and changing their lives. The bigger the impact, the better the testimonial and just the better impact you made on the world. And that energy carries within you and within how you present yourself and how you speak and the confidence you have in your own business, the conviction you have in your own business. So it's like the most important thing.
Yeah, it's super interesting that you're saying that. Do you feel like that the most important thing about fulfillment is the outcome? Is it the experience? Is it like what's the segment in which you make yourself confidently say that a product is good?
In my business, it's the outcome. It's
It's
definitely
out.
the outcome. Like getting getting my clients recovered from DPDR is the most important thing. That's what I market around and that's what I hold pride in. That's because I've been in their shoes. So the only option is that, you know.
Absolutely. What are the most important things that you would say that got you from like 10 to 50K?
I it's like the top three things I'd say would be again, as I said, sales is very important. You need clients to close. So you need sales.
Bro, I
You need to know how
told
to
you that
close.
I remember on a sales call, you said like I need to build an entire course, need to build an entire fulfillment. You remember that call when I was in Cape
Yeah,
Town? And it said like, no, you need
yeah,
to make sales. You need to get clients that give you feedback and you can build the course around these clients. That's the thing that most people do wrong.
exactly. Exactly. So sales, I would say, is probably number one. From there, you need content. Without content, people can't come through the funnel, you know? Um, and what else? To get from 10 to 20 to 50, you need a setter. You absolutely need a setter to a good setter to buy back your time so you're able to not just have time to rip content and get on all these sales calls, but also um, get that mental clarity and just like the mental space opens. You know, and once you get close to the 50K mark, that's when you can have a closer. And that's honestly what fucking fired me up. You know, like that was my biggest motivation, bro. I
Bro.
was fucking tired
We
of those sales calls.
Sales calls,
Fucking
bro. You got a closer right now,
tired of
Oliver. You got a setter, Jaden. You got what else do you got? You got a CSM. Everything is dialed, bro. Yeah, it's super
yes.
nice, bro. It's super nice.
It
What do you
runs
like?
itself while I oversee it. That's a great fucking. Now I have a new job, right? It's not like, oh, my job ends there. Now you have to be a
Correct.
fucking like a CEO. Now you have to fucking really. Now you have a team, so it's different, you know. But
How
it's a great new responsibility. I love it.
Right? I completely agree. And I like that as well because you actually feel like you're worth something while building a company that can work without you being the direct responder of the input that you do. And that's super great, bro. Because then you're building a company instead of just being a freelancer when you do everything yourself. Most people that are watching right now, they're doing 0 or maybe 10, 20, 30, 50, and they're freelancing while they're doing it without having a team, without having a lean team, systems. They maybe have a 100% profit margin, but they work 80 hours a week. And we have an 80% profit margin while,
Yeah.
working whatever, however, how much we want.
Yeah, like what I did last month all by myself with no fucking closer. Well, not all by myself. Well, I didn't have a closer, I didn't have a CSM, right? So I just had a setter.
Yeah, only setter.
It's it was really fucking tough. Like it was almost felt like a rat race. Like it was, yeah, I hit 50K in the month, but I was fucking overworked. I was waking up every morning anxious. Like I was fucking like my heart was racing. Like obviously I put a lot of pressure on myself, but it shouldn't have to fucking be that way. I would rather honestly hit fucking 35K and have a good team, you know, and not fucking kill myself and burn out within a couple months. You know, the longevity is so important, you know. And this was like a big thing of mine where I always want like I want to perfect like if I don't want to hand over responsibility to someone else, you know, because I feel like I'm the only one that can do it in my business, and that's not the right mindset I have, you know.
Big
Like
problem people are struggling with, bro. Letting go of control. I think when you get a
it's
mentor and
tough.
you start
It's
getting
tough.
accountability, information, implementation of whatever, you get help. The one of the biggest constraints that I help people overcome is also when it comes down to mindset technically, is like we have all the systems. We have the implementation, we have the setters, just the entire procedure of what needs to happen. But the biggest thing like business owners have trouble with is letting go of control. And
Mm.
when you can solve that problem, it's a problem of massive abundance because you will be able to let go of things that are necessary to let go of when it comes down to potential scale, And that's how you constantly grow, bro. Letting go of things that are super valuable and important to you. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with.
It's tough. It's tough, but it has to happen at the end of the day. Like there's no way around it. You don't want to be doing everything all the time, you know? Especially when it comes to a setter, that one's kind of even though it was kind of tough in the beginning, it's kind of no-brainer. Like you should have a pretty simple setting framework and process.
Correct.
And the closing aspect, yeah, that one's definitely tougher. Because you're like, oh, but what if he fucks up and, you know, what if I don't get that one sale? But what you're not understanding is like, first of all, you don't want to be taking sales calls for the rest of your life. And then what you're not really understanding is you're playing the short game where it's like, all right, what if you do lose a sale or two because the closer's new and he's getting implemented? That's fucking fine.
Exactly.
That's
The most
fine.
important thing is
Fine.
that you understand that your time is valuable and money is unimportant. You will lose 100K when you hire your first fucking setter when you're doing 50K. You literally lose out a lot of on a lot of money, on a lot of sales. But it's worth it because it sacrifices the ability to then create scale because you save time. And I think saving time is one of the most important things because we have 24 hours in a day, but we can make more than
That's it.
we can make more than 25K in a day, or 24K in a day,
Yes.
or more than 100K in a day, more than 240K in a day. You know what I mean? There's no limit. So yeah, I think that's beautiful, bro. That's a beautiful set. When it comes down to 200K, how do you think your operations look like? When we're at 200K a month by the end of the year?
Wait, what do you mean? What do I think my operations look like?
I'm just curious, bro. Like, I think we're gonna hit 210K this month. For myself, is my record month, and I'm curious from your perspective to see how you feel like it looks like running a 200K a month operation.
What does it look like? Fuck.
In
It
comparison
looks
to
like,
what's 50K per month.
I mean, you tell me what changes. Like, I know you have to, first of all, have a pretty high ticket offer, you know, from
One
there,
component, yeah.
ads, you have good ads. You need to have a setter who's dialed. You need to have a closer who's dialed. You need to have, um, good marketing, really good marketing. That's for sure.
A
Good
super
marketing
good
and
fulfillment foundation, I would say. What you're saying is super good marketing. I feel like when you go past 100K per month, it's not about what you post anymore. Or it's not about how much you post, technically said. It's about strategically thinking about what you post and how you position what you post with the current audience base you have, with the users that you can convert.
that's
And
true.
then when you have done that and you've got to like 400 or 500K per month, you go back to the more of a volume play. You go from
I see.
volume to quality
Because
back to volume.
that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
You know,
and
a
it's
lot of
having an
people
A-player
don't.
team, bro. It's having the best team out of the world. Like I have the best team in the world, and that's probably the main reason why I'm where I'm at. You know, that's what I help people build
Yeah, I
A-player
know.
teams. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
Isaiah's a beast. I'll speak for like Isaiah's really fucking good. You know, that's your guy right there. That's he's helped me a lot, given me so much clarity. I didn't know who the hell Isaiah was when I first got in. Like you kept him from me. You didn't tell me I was gonna have like another dude who was fucking an expert at this shit also helping me. But Isaiah was the fucking man.
it's the difference between just hiring coaches and actually having the implementation of people that work in your company. That's the thing. Like, you know, like when we have a setter process or a closing process, or even, you know, like a process when operations are at, people that perform these tasks in my company are actually doing the steps with clients instead of just hiring a random coach. You know, and that's the beauty about what you do as well. Right now, you have a CSM, but that CSM has been through the exact pain of what the customer needs to go through. And that's where value comes into play. And I think we're one of the only ones that have a team that works in the trenches and at the same time fulfills on helping clients solve that specific problem. Because my setter is better at appointment setting than I am. My closer is better at closing. My ops manager is better at running ops. I'm the best one at making content. So you know, and that's how you.
You're the mastermind, and you're the mastermind. That's how it's supposed to be, you know? It's yeah, you're behind the fucking content, you're behind the marketing, and that's fire. Like I love that, you know? I love that. That's where I want to get to even more, you know?
It's great,
It's
bro.
awesome.
I love building such companies. I have one last question. What will you say to people that are on the fence of working with me, that are watching right now?
Look, I mean, if you know you have the capital and it's just fear and it's just like, oh, what if this, what if that? If you genuinely want to make money, then why the fuck are you like, why do you have the mindset of someone who doesn't want to make money? You know, because it's oh, you always have to, there's always going to be fear involved. Like before I fucking hopped on and committed, like, yeah, there's doubt. Yeah, there's like, oh, it's a lot of money. But the way I look at it is you always have to invest in yourself, you know? And that's the thing. I don't know if a lot of people watching this have already invested in themselves. Through that investment, I was actually able to find you, Nick, and now like we're fucking crushing it, you know? But if you're on the fence, you have to take into account what do you actually want, you know? What do you want? And if you've seen Nick's results and you like the way he runs, you know, his own Instagram page and how he comes off, then like at the end of the day, you gotta fucking go for it. You gotta go for it, you know?
I love that, bro. How would you say like what I do is different compared to other people online?
How is it different? I think it's a good question, to be honest. I think a very key point is that you're an expert at this. You're an expert at this. You're not some other just like coaches. That's the vibe you give off, and that's what I've gotten from you. You're not just a coachers guy. You're a genuine expert in this shit, you know, very smart, and it's almost like a next like an actual mentor. No, it's not a coach's guy. It's like someone who's a
The
legit
actual
mentor,
mentor. That's
like
super
an
funny.
actual mentor, someone who's like really fucking smart and who's built a business from nothing and you're 21 and you're fucking crushing it. And that's for a reason. You like that's another thing, right? Like when you're picking out who to choose or like what's the best pick, like bro, you're 21, look what you've been able to do, you know? And the client success is fucking awesome and just like yeah, man, you gotta take that into consideration,
Love
you
you,
know?
bro. I appreciate you telling me that. No, that means a lot. We're gonna
Hell
stop
yeah.
here because we've been talking for 30 minutes almost. Bro,
Damn.
I'm excited for the next testimonial, bro. When we're at $250,000 per month in like in under a year, so let's run it up.
Let's do another one at 100.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down. Let's do it. I appreciate your
Fuck
time,
yeah.
brother. Thank you.
Oh yeah.